Hey guys, welcome to another market report video. This time I'm going to be doing what is the midterm market like for West Roseville, California. So I'm doing one particular zip code 95747, and I am doing a filter on Airdna for 3 to 4 bedroom. Currently there are 76 active Airbnb listings. If we scroll down, we can see that there are 20% that are doing 30 nights. So if we take 76 times 20%, there are 15 properties. So how I go about analyzing, is this a good market to be in? I gauge first on the Airbnb side. Now, midterm rental is a lot of different categories. You can use obviously the platforms, Airbnb, VRBO. There's also Zillow. A lot of you familiar with Furnished Finder. And then a very popular thing that's trending now is insurance housing. Temporary housing providers, they're looking for short leases that have the option to extend while the house is getting reconstructed, whether it be from a flood or a fire. And so they need that flexibility. They usually sign 3-month leases and then they extend. I've had someone stay for 16 months at one point. And so, anyway, doing this approach is a great way to kind of just gauge what the supply and demand is in a given area. And so, West Roseville is an area that's expanding, it's growing. Bosch just came to the area, and a couple other big companies. And let's take a look at what is available. If I were, a father, husband, and we just had our pipe break, what is available if, let's say, I'm looking, May 1st for a month? We could see that there are 7 properties available in the West Roseville area out of 17. Now, that is close to about a 50% supply and demand. So it's not like amazing, but it's somewhat good. So you basically just have to kind of analyze where you're at. Now, one thing that should be looked into is some of these properties that pop up are not exactly midterm. They're short term. It's just that maybe they just got launched and those dates haven't been booked yet and are not fully optimized. But yeah, obviously, like a place like this where they're trying to, price it at $395, and so a great way to kind of track this is to make a spreadsheet, add in all your different competitors, and then pay someone to check every day or do it yourself and see, oh, is it available? What was the price? And as time goes on, you can start to see, okay, how long does it take to get booked, and at what price point did they get booked? And so you also can look at Zillow to kind of see what people are doing. And a lot of temporary housing providers will look at Zillow to see what's available, and they'll call you and say, hey, can we quickly get a family to move in? So you got to act quick. They usually want something within 48 hours. And then, yeah, there's also Furnished Finder. Now, Furnished Finder, people tend to be the most budget conscious. So if you're trying to make more money, insurance housing people do reach out through Furnished Finder occasionally, but for the majority, you're not going to get many phone calls if you're priced at the same price as what you see like on Airbnb. Furnished Finder, it's more of like travel nurses or just people that are wanting something cheaper. So like for a 3-bedroom, if you're priced at $4,500 or below, you're definitely going to get a call, and it's going to be less and less. But it's all about like, who's the target market you're trying to go after? Are you trying to be more stable and just get, someone in for 6 months? And you'll have to decide. And a great website, if you want to explore insurance housing, is Ale Solutions. So basically, they are an official vendor of most insurance companies. And when a family loses their house and they need to stay somewhere temporarily, Ale Solution comes in and they'll first go through their database, or they'll start looking on Airbnb, VRBO, Zillow, Furnished Finder, and they'll reach out. They'll do a lease, and you'll negotiate on rent, pet fee, deposit. And then a company that I've been seeing lately, been getting me a lot of local leads, is Paradise Point Housing. And so they'll just text you, hey, are you available? You reply, and then they'll schedule a tour. And so we recently launched a midterm rental in December, and I'll show you guys how it's done so far. So we launched it in December. It took 2 weeks. Someone booked it for a month, and it was actually an insurance company or insurance temporary housing company actually booked it directly through Airbnb. There's a company called CRS Housing, and they actually have a direct relationship with Airbnb now, where as last resort, they'll book through Airbnb. And unfortunately, the husband, I guess, didn't like climbing up the stairs, and so they moved out. Now, for midterm, January, February are tough. And so, like, usually you need to be priced much lower so you can find like a booking that lasts starting in December and goes a couple months. So yeah, January, yeah, we weren't able to lock anyone. We ended up applying for a short-term permit, and so we were able to, get a little bit of bookings. We used a tool called Price Labs, and basically what we did was we set it for last minute of 14 days, and basically what this tool does is that it kind of like last minute will start to lower the price automatically. It uses AI to kind of track your competitors, but how we had it set was within 7 days, it's 2-day minimum, and then within 7 to 14 days last minute, it's 7-day minimum. So it keeps our calendar wide open for that potential more juicier midterm booking. But in the meantime, we're able to make a little bit of money. And then, yeah, anyway, eventually we finally got a call from Zillow. This family, they had been paid out by the insurance for some renovations. They just needed to move somewhere, and so they were going to just pay. I said, hey, why don't you just book through Airbnb instead of trying to make an agreement? And yeah, so they moved in March, and yeah, they're going to be in there for a couple months. And so yeah, the profit has picked up, and we're going to continue to be listed on all the different platforms to get even bigger, juicier insurance housing. For this property, I'm hoping to eventually get like a $6K a month insurance housing booking. And so, yeah, if you're interested in investing, or if you already have a house in the West Roseville area, yeah, schedule a free analysis call with me, and we can see if your property would be good. 3 bedrooms or more are ideal if you want to have the biggest price ceiling. And so, yeah, thanks for listening. Take care.